Hey everybody, I did a video interview with the creators of Skin City a while back. I hope you saw that video. I'll link it at the end if you want to check that interview out. It was a lot of fun. And so they were promoting their Kickstarter for the game Skin City. And I had them on, told people about it, and I said, you know what, I'm going to back this too. So I backed it. The minute I got my code to get a print version of it, I sent off for it. And just to let you know, I was able to do that through and to buy some of these things due to the Drive to RPG affiliate link. So I use that money to try to get some more products to show you guys, some of these games that are out there and supplements and adventures. And so I was more than happy to check it out and say, here we go. I'm gonna go ahead and order it. And I'd take a look at the PDF. It's really cool. And I'll be honest with you, I backed it. I think the idea is really neat. I said that in the interview. And then once I finally got the PDF, I didn't want to read too much into it until I finally got the book, the actual book. But I did read some of it. And then I just dove into it, obviously, for this video. And I really dig it. I think it's really cool. I thought the idea was really neat. It says it's a survival manual for the operatives of the glorious Vertebrus Major, a flesh and bone role-playing game. It's written by this scribe, Occipital Calcanus, I think it's how it's said, translated by Chuck Crans. So it's in essence a scribe that is writing down this survival manual for skeletons that are trying to infiltrate the last human city after like a post-apocalyptic event in the world. So there it is, Skin City there, Chuck Crans, Cannon Otter Studio. And you can see the cover kind of looks, it reminds me of a football. I'm not exactly sure if that, like the football flesh. But we've got a skeleton here. He's kind of pointing out what's going on in Skin City. And yeah, it's a really neat game. I'll have a link down in the description if you want to pick it up in PDF and print. This one right here, obviously. Like I said, I sent off immediately for it once I got that code because I just like, you know what? I want to show people this game because once I started reading it, I said, this is really something fun. It is based on the Into the Odd is the system, and I've done video on Teenage Odyssey that also uses that, and that's the system where you just pretty much roll damage. And I've started thinking about that more and more in my head because at first I was like, I don't know if I really like that, but now that I think about it, it's like it's just one more roll, and if you've got armor. To take off some of that, you've got enough of hit points or whatever type of points you've got. It's really not that bad, and you can still describe the good action of combat. So it's not a complete something I would foo-foo. I think I'm starting to, in essence, come around to it, and I don't think it's that big a deal. And I can see how it speed up the game as well. So let's go ahead and get into it. For starters, it looks fun. It looks neat. I like the font that's used here. We've got a great table of contents, and I'm going to go ahead and tell you. I'm going to go ahead and show you the back right now because I was very pleased by this. It has a very extensive index with stuff broken down, not just like combat modification tags, but like other stuff as well. Look at this index for this book. Very well done. I was very pleased by that, and that is a sticking point for some people. So I'm glad that that's covered. It is about 200, which is another thing too. I didn't think that this game, well, actually, is about 180. I didn't think this game was going to be as big as this. I was actually quite surprised by that. We've got Greetings and Skelutations, a primer on Skin City. It's going to tell you about Skin City itself. Again, that's the last bastion of humanity. Your meat suit, which I love the meat suit concept. Useful information before you get started. Character creation, very easy, fast character creation. I really like the way it's done there. Rules and regulations for adventuring into Skin City. Conflict with the living, combat of course. For the game master, creating enemies, very cool. Foes of Vertebrus Major. And then, of course, our cool index. So, what is going on? You are a skeleton. You are one of the blessed few has been brought to life by the magnificent Vertebrus Major. So, this is supposed to be, in essence, like it says, a survival manual. So, it's written from the perspective of this scribe. And they all worship Vertebrus Major. It's all from that viewpoint, and it makes the book fun. It's a very good idea to when creating this book, that was the goal in mind, is to say, this is from their viewpoint. So it has a skewed view of humanity in essence, and those that have flesh. It is very funny. I had a lot of laughs in it. There's a lot of tongue-in-cheek type stuff you're going to pull out of it and be like, okay, I get what it's doing there, and that's funny. Yes, I get that. And it's throughout the whole book, and it does it because it's in this scribe's view and on the side of the skeletons. It's just funny to see kind of humanity from their side. So you have been enlisted into a special force tasked with infiltrating the last human stronghold, Skin City. You will be playing a skeleton animated by the great deity of bone, Vertebratus Major. Your player character will be outfitted in a cutting-edge faux meat suit, which allows you to blend in with the human citizens of Skin City. Your tasks, while in this Skin City, may seem likely. They have been randomly generated by a series of tables in the Game Master section of this book, but do not doubt that these missions are the direct will of Vertebratus Major. So you can see how it some of its verbiage is very funny. Some of the jokes and stuff are just great. I had a lot of smiles through reading it, and that's what you're going to be doing. It's going to tell you here like what it means to be a skeleton. You've been granted this great unlife, and there's Vertebratus Major is just like the be all end all. And it says that like his goals are unknowable in complexity, moving pieces beyond time and space, setting plans within plans. Are you sure you are a skeleton? Skeletonization process is obvious, but there have been a few unfortunate individuals who are victims of tragic degloving incidents and are not actual skeletons. And of course, it talks about degloving, which I enjoy that. That's funny. In the fact that that's what they think about with taking the flesh off the bone. It says, if you believe that you are not an animated skeleton but a maimed human, please alert the nearest flesh reduction technician so they may assist in finalizing your skeletonization process. So it talks a little bit here about what are humans and what happened to them. And they're not really sure exactly. Some survive, it says, by taking refuge in Skin City. The rest were converted into the new inhabitants of the earth. Vampires, werewolves, zombies, ghosts, demons, horses, wendigos, evil skeletons, and ourselves. So I do like the fact that horses are there, and it's just a fun little gag there on them, as they are a very powerful supernatural creature in the back of the book. It talks about how humans are superstitious and fearful group. Their natural herd mentality enables their leadership caste to imprison their masses in a never-ending consumer-based purgatory. So it talks a lot about like capitalism and the way that humans are. It's a fun read. I think that's the thing that was the most enjoyable about this. Of a lot of the comedy role-playing games that I've read, this one really, I think it brings it. So it says, like, there's different names for humans: fleshies, skinners, meat bags, incubators, and that's cool. So what was the identification? That's pretty much what happened to them. And not really 100% sure exactly what happened. But it resulted in the great awakening of skeleton kind, the loss or transformation of humans. And it's got some neat art throughout it. It's very fitting. I wish there was more, of course. And I haven't looked back at the Kickstarter what some of the stretch goals could have been for it. But I know, unfortunately, I'm afraid that there could have been stuff that could have been added to it as well, and I'll talk about that when I get to those sections. But here's a primer on Skin City, the districts within Skin City. Not a super fancy map, but again, you have to kind of think that this is, again, skeletons trying to piece together as they go in and infiltrate Skin City, the information they bring back. And a lot of this I was kind of surprised. This is quite a large section here. And it's a thing that at first I was like, I don't really want to read about all these different areas, but I started reading about it, and it's funny. And there's a lot of great stuff in here, like Longview's got, in essence, retirement homes. And some of the stuff they talk about in here, and I'll read like this here. It says, there's an ever-present medical condition in this district known as the clap. Why so many of the elderly have become infected with this disease is unknown and does warrant future detailed study. So I don't know. It's just there's a lot of really good funny laughs in this section here. This Miniville here, it's got roller coasters. It says these roller coasters are believed to be the skeletal remains of massive serpents propped up with small vehicles attached to their spines. The humans ride the roller coasters for the thrills Future ventures into Skin City are planned to see if these serpent skeletons can be given the blessing of Vertebris Major. So it's neat to see it from that perspective of the skeletons. Again, it's quite large. I was pretty impressed by that. And it's going to talk to you about your meat suit. It's going to talk about how you have a Mark V version, which is, of course, the newest version, and break down the history of the other marks and the issues they had with them. And that was, again, very clever and a fun little history lesson into trying to make these suits, the different stuff they used in order to make them, and the failures of them, until it gets to your great Mark V right here. So it's going to tell you about tests, and this is that Into the Odd system. Very easy. It's a D20. You're going to have to roll pretty much equal to or less than the value of your attribute. Tell you about opposed tests there. Advantage is going to give you, of course, 2 dice. Disadvantage, you know how that all works. You've got luck tests, and some of this I've said before from the Teenage Odyssey video, but you're going to have a D6. You're going to be able to do some stuff with some luck tests. It's going to let you re-roll some stuff as well as have exploding damage, but you'll have you can only get up to, I believe it's 5 maximum luck, and you're going to roll a D6, and you're going to try to get at or below your current luck attribute. So it's going to be harder to be lucky as your luck goes down, but after you beat encounters, your luck will go back up by 1. So you're going to have flesh points on your meat suit. Everything else will have hit points, and then it's going to talk about damage reduction. Pretty much, if you take damage, you've got some armor or something that's going to reduce that. So you're going to have flesh points. They're going to have hit points, and then when that goes down, it's going to go into your strength until you're killed. And so here's the character creation. Very neat. What kind of skeleton are you? So you're going to roll and record your luck. It's a D4. You're going to have 6 flesh points. You're going to roll your attributes, which are strength, smarts, agile, and convince attributes. There's 3d6 for each of them. And what you do is you use your attributes you just rolled. You find and record your human cover story and human ability, as well as your skeleton abilities and hobby. And then, of course, come up with your name. So it's going to explain more of that about luck, tell you more about flesh points. And I said it's going to show you how you roll those up. You can get more luck whenever you roll a natural 20. So that's going to be fun. Increase your luck by 1. When you roll over your luck attribute on a luck test, increase your luck attribute by 1. So when you get lucky and you make it, you're going to increase it as well. So it's going to make it harder. And then again, like I said, when you overcome an encounter, you'll increase your luck attribute by 1 as well. Flesh points, that's going to be, of course, your suit. As it gets destroyed, it's going to look like normal human flesh damage. And then once it's done and you don't have any more, you run out of flesh points, it's going to explode off your skeletal body. And that's going to be pretty, and a lot of people are going to hear, it's not going to do like damage or anything, but people are obviously going to be able to hear it. So I'm telling you about the different attributes. And then you've got your human cover story. And that's where your agile and your convince, you're going to cross-reference this to show which cover story you have. And they're going to give you certain human abilities for that. Some of these are, of course, very fun. Bodybuilder. They're constantly making new humans. The exact process is still a bit of mystery, but during our studies, we have uncovered the ancient art of bodybuilding, using recycled human body parts to repair or create new humans. So the human ability is you can use the body parts of other humans to repair your meat suit. So in essence, you can take off the flesh and put them on and repair your meat suit. Very helpful, actually. For every human you consume, you heal 1 flesh point. So very neat. You get some gear with it as well. A lot of these are very comical and cool. Accident coordinator, boxer right here. You get advantage on tests to box anything. So it's not exactly what you think. It says, like the great human boxer Stoney, you are an expert at the art of boxing. You have practiced long and hard at enclosing people, places, and things into cardboard boxes. So I just dig it. Oh, if you get number 1, you get to choose your own. So that's pretty neat. Chef, chiropractor, clergy. And I can go through so much stuff that's written in here that's funny and made me smile, and I enjoyed it, and I get it. Masseuse, detective. So you're going to have this. Your flesh and your cover story is going to give you a certain human ability that you'll use until your flesh suit gets destroyed. And then your skeletal ability, because you're going to be exposed as a skeleton, running around Skin City, and you're going to have your own skeleton ability. That's pretty cool. I like the polka musician here. We all know, I think, who this person is, and I really dig that one a lot. Pro wrestler, security guard, underwater basket weaver, used car salesman. And then here it is. This has been, of course, granted to you by Vertebrus Major here. You'll use your strength and your smarts to figure out exactly what skeleton hobby and ability chart you're going to have. And you're going to get a skeletal ability. It could be like, again, you're an acrobat, big thinker, bird cosplayer, bone buffer, bone grafter, bone thrower, a lot of bone stuff. Brain jitsu, chrome dome, consume triplets. There's a lot of really cool stuff here. Grill enthusiast, and again, I'd love to be able to read this, but all this stuff to you and have a good laugh at it, but we'd be here for a while. But I really enjoyed this section, reading these and seeing what the skeletal ability is, and I just think it's really neat. It's a clever concept that you're running around this city. You're a skeleton. You've got a neat human ability, a flesh suit ability. And then once it explodes off, you get to use your skeleton ability. Really cool. So this is a fun thing here. Rules and regulations for adventuring in Skin City. Common phrases to avoid superstition. And this is just really good jokes about humanity here. Ask them about local sports ball games. Ask them if they have any small humans at home and how long they intend to keep them. Ask how they are doing, but you must ignore any answers they give you. Ask them how their work is doing, but do not ask them how much they are compensated for their work. It's a lot of good stuff like that. T-pose to assert dominance. I love that one at the end. That's great. And then common human greetings and how to respond to them. Greeting, how's it going? Thoroughly describe any workplace troubles you're experiencing. How are you is the greeting. Thoroughly describe your last doctor's appointment. It's good. It's good stuff. And then we talk about combat here. Pretty normal stuff here. D20, attacking, exploding damage when you use your luck. It's going to allow you to do kind of max damage and add a die roll to your damage. You can do some called shots, damage to your meat, so explaining how that works. I like this section here about rounding off numbers. More games need to have that. I shouldn't have to guess if I'm rounding up or rounding down. What happens when you reach 0 flesh points? What happens when you die? Recovery is going to be tough, especially for your meat suit. That's going to be very difficult. You have to have kind of that one ability there that lets you do that. And then advancement's cool. You're going to roll a test for each of your attributes. If you roll over, increase the attribute by 1. If you roll at or under, you do not increase the attribute. And then it says if you don't roll any of them, if you don't get an increase in any of them, you get to choose one. The maximum is 19. And then I like this. You will then use your new attribute score to determine a new skeleton hobby on the skeletal hobby chart. You now have access to both skeleton hobbies. So as you advance, you're going to continue to get new skeleton hobbies. If you get the same result, you're just going to choose the next one in the list. And then, but the different thing here is your skin suit, your flesh suit here. It says you're going to get a new human cover story in essence whenever you go up with your advancement. So you're not going to keep those because that's kind of tied to your cover story. But at least you'll gain and keep those skeletal hobbies. But this will always change, and it'll make your character different each time you do a new mission for Vertebrus Major. And I think that's really neat. So we've got weapons, the weapon range here. This is all pretty normal stuff. It uses these tags, and a lot of this can give you, we've seen this in a lot of video games have stuff like this. Choking, commanding, distracting, flammable. Some of these are very funny, and you can add these tags to weapons to give them new cool abilities. And there's a very long list of those. I can tell you about armor and your meat suit. I do like the fact that if something happens, you get flesh on top of your armor. It's going to make you bumpy and make you stand out amongst the humans. That's really cool. So yeah, you're going to want to try to get armor here. It tells you like sports ball pads is going to be big and give you 2 damage reduction. I dig that. And then this whole section here is interesting. It's a random mission generator here, and this is how you're going to go through it. 1 through 4 is going to be known to the players. 5 and 6 is going to be kind of hidden for the game master. So you're going to roll or pick the nature of the mission. What district is the mission in? What district are you starting in? And you're going to pick the mission location in the district. And then, of course, what's hidden is who is the big bad, and is there a plot twist, and what is that plot twist? And we've got some really cool tables here to roll: kidnapping, rescue, escort. And they're going to break down each one of these here. We've got random humans you can roll up. So you can roll up like Paige Major. You can roll down here. She's got an extra elbow, and will fight people for snacks. Her job is she's an accountant, and her secret is they eat butter by the stick, and they always have several sticks on them. So yeah, it's just neat. You'll use this table to create random humans, or random skeletons, because maybe they need to be rescued here. You've got a MacGuffin table. You've got escorts, plant device. You need to maybe plant something somewhere. Body swap somebody out for maybe a skeleton person. Murder somebody, plant evidence. See, really good tables here. Murder mystery table, mollywop. There's a menu here if you want to try to learn how to cook, because they're very curious about how all these different foods and recipes that humans have. Maybe you need to place a bet or open a business, make money. Maybe just kill everybody, annihilation. And then here's some more of those tables here. What district is the mission in? You can roll those up. Maybe it's in the sewers. I do like the use of watch out for rats and turds. If you know me, I like saying the word turds a lot. So I was glad to see that in print. Mission location in the district table. The big bad table could be stuff like flesh monster, mob boss, pack of stray dogs. Plot twist table. You can roll or pick. A lot of cool stuff in here that's going to really kind of change it up. Maybe you are the distraction team and not the main team. Maybe it's a trap. It's all a simulation that you now have to escape. So a lot of cool stuff to kind of change it up there. Some funny product placement table here. Random items found in Skin City. So that's cool. D100 right there. And then we've got this big section on enemies, which I was very surprised by. It's got a whole thing about how, step by step, how to create an enemy. You choose pretty much if it's a weakling, a regular threat, a big and scary, or a boss level. And that's going to give you a lot of the stuff here to tell like what their luck is, what their attributes are, like what you're going to roll those up, how many tags they might get, because enemies are going to get tags themselves, how much hit points and damage reduction they have. And then like what weapons, again, how many tags maybe their weapons will have, or their enemy tags. And there's a bunch of these enemy tags. Anti-skeleton tags. They're obviously going to try to really sniff you out and kill you as a skeleton. Attribute modification tags. Beast tags. Combat modification tags. Human tags. Magical ones. Mind power. Monster. Mutant tags. There's some mutants in this as well. Sci-fi tags. Weakness tags. And then we're going to have page by page of foes of Vertebrus Major. So this is the cat. And I mean, all that's cat. It's going to have their write-up for them, their stats, their different enemy tags, and then combat. And I like how it says tags are summarized in the descriptions and all adjustments are accounted for in the stat block. Let me know. I always like that when a game lets you know, hey, look, we've already done the work. So if it says it gets a bonus because of a tag, we've already added that bonus into the stats. That's very helpful. So you can see they've got 6 hit points. They have no damage reduction. Their initiative is a D20 plus 9. You need to try to beat them on that. They move 30 feet. They have 1 attack. It's a D4. It's a bite and a claw. And they might have a ball of yarn and 1 ounce of catnip. These are very fun to read. The only thing I'll say here is that the art does get very, very slim towards the back of the book. And I feel like that's unfortunate. But a lot of the stuff you know what a goose and a pig is and it's already quite a large book. I was kind of surprised by that. But we've got stuff like sheep, wolf, cleric, corner. As we get into humans, these guys are really nasty. Feral orphan, firefighters. A lot of these are funny. Like, I'd love to be able to stop and we just keep talking about this. But you've got other things probably to do. And I appreciate, of course, you watching. Mall cops are cool. A lot of these are just really fun. You can see here, Nun, Neighborhood Watch, Police. I was amazed at the end here of all these different. So here's the supernatural and there's horse. The supernatural horse, and it just talks about how terrible these things are. And they've got extra limbs, and they can siphon meat, and they've got tentacles. I just think there's something about it. It's really funny how these are just the worst animals in the world. They've got a bite that is a laser and a powerful bite, and their loot is like a bottle of school glue, leathery slime-covered egg of a horse, finger bones of the horse's previous victim. So they're just horrible. Here's a rogue skeleton. They're not been convinced to join Vertebrus Major. Vampire, big section here on vampire. Zombie and mutants, big thing here on mutants. Animal mutant continues, so that's 2 pages there. Extra human mutant, gifted mutant, plant mutant, Trashaconda. I like that. That's a good name. And then we've got big bads and special NPCs, things that are obviously going to be kind of focal points for adventures, well, I should say missions into Skin City. Capitalism as a final boss. And interesting read up right there. Talks about the tax code and stuff like that. Corrupt politician. A lot of politicians are involved in this, and it's funny. They've got stuff like Little Black Book, Powdered Wig, Stock Portfolio. I like that. Dinosaurs, taxidermists, And this, like I said, this whole back section was nothing but like monsters, creatures, enemies, mob boss, flesh monster. I was really impressed by this. It's a lot. And we've got a potato monstrosity right there, as you can see. And reverse necromancer. A little bit of art right here at the back of it. Scientist studying bone disease. Seductive cult leader. And then this is a great one. Shark with mechanical legs and a water suit. I just really think that's awesome. This is this whole section right here. Very tough to go up against one of those, I think. Skeleton defector, destroy on sight. So these are going against you, and they have to be put down as quick as you can. 3 goblins in a trench coat. I like that. Undertaker. And then here's our character sheet, and here is that index I told you about. Now, one thing I'll say about it, like I said, I'm very happy. I'm very pleased with this Kickstarter. If it filled on time, the book is very fun. I have a couple of small nitpicks. Some of it has to do with kind of the layout. I wish it was just a little bit raised up. This is very minor. It just seems like a lot of stuff is pushed down. May just be a printing issue type thing that might need to be kind of corrected. You can kind of see how these tables go really low. Just a visual thing. It kind of was odd to me. I think it is very well done. I think it needs help when it comes to support. If there wasn't going to be an adventure in the back of this, or like a mission, like a, kind of a beginning mission to kind of explain to you more or show you more what you're going to kind of be doing. It needs a certain type of group that is really likes to just have fun and be kind of wacky. Because without that mission, that kind of an early mission for you to try out, like a first level type mission, if you wish, you're kind of like, well, where do I start? I can start up use these tables here, which are really good. This stuff here, but like, I just need a little. I feel like some people need a little bit, couple more steps. For them to get moving in the right direction to get this going. It's a game where I'm like, I want more support for it. I hope that does come down the way, such as, some missions that are made for it that you can buy and play, just to get a little bit of help. I think that would be the thing that I when I read through it, I was like, I still think some people are going to have some difficulty getting going in this game. But I think overall it's cool. I'm really, really pleased with it. I think it's really fun. It's one of the funnier role-playing games. And it's a game that I felt that, it's different. I talked to the guys who made it, and it's one of those products where you think it's a really cool idea, and then you get it, and it's like, well, this is really neat. They really did a good job on this, and more people need to hear about a game like this. This is like, to me, it's like the perfect example of kind of why I do these videos for some of these products. And I've talked to people before about it, and it's like, I feel like no one else is really doing videos on a lot of these products. There's so many out there. I can't do them all, but this is one that I feel deserves to be seen by someone. And I think they would feel, if they have the right group for it, this would be right up their alley. It's funny. I love the idea of it is really cool. The way it's written. The viewpoint from the skeletons and looking at humans, it made me, I wanted to get the book printed, and I wanted to do this video because this is why I do videos, is because of a product just like this. This is like for me, one of the ultimate RPG overviews product videos, where I'm like, I hope someone likes this like I do. And I hope that someone watches this video and says, hey, I wouldn't have known about this unless you did this video, because there's just so many products out there. We're just, you go to drive through RPG. I mean, where do you even look for stuff? How do you go through that huge just maelstrom of products? So, I think it's good. I think it's cool. I think it's really neat. It may not be for everybody, and I think it needs just a little bit of some maybe helping some people that might be a little bit timid in order to start this thing, where to start it and what to do with it. So I hope there's more from it, and it's only because I think it's that cool. But I was very jazzed to finally get it, especially once I saw the PDF. And I hope this video is going to help them sell some copies of it. And that this is exactly why I do these videos, is for a product just like this. So thank you so much for watching, if you watched this far. And stay tuned for new videos that are coming out soon, and I'll see you next time.